Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Two in the Cooler. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Two in the Cooler, and subscribe to the YouTube page. Hopefully you're watching it on there right now. We've got a lot of great clips, highlights from the episodes on there. And of course on Instagram and Twitter, we're running our Who Would Win of the Week polls every week. Be sure to vote in those, especially this week. We've got a good one for you. Try to keep the intro quick here because it's just Matt and I this week, getting back to the basics with this episode. But a few things got to mention to pay the bills around this joint. First and foremost, this episode of Two in the Cooler comes to you in affiliation with Instacart. Instacart is the best way to get some of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. Not just groceries, folks. Not just groceries. But while you're at it, why not use Instacart for groceries as well? Personally speaking, I've said it a million times, I can't stand the grocery store. I think it's a place that brings out the worst in humanity. I like to avoid it at all costs. If I know I have to go to the grocery store, it's distracting all day. I think about it all day, how much I am not looking forward to having to go to the grocery store. Don't have to worry about that when you use Instacart. And the best part is right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $35 or more. Just hit the link in the show description and get that going. The other link in the show description is for merch. Teespring.com/stores/Two in the Cooler. For all the Two in the Cooler merchandise, we've got logo merch, we've got hashtag pizza tipping. Matt can't read stuff, which is always a big seller. He doesn't know what it says, but a lot of people seem to like it. Spring's coming up. Spring is coming up, so why not get yourself a t-shirt? The t-shirts are so soft. Oh my gosh, they are the best t-shirts from a podcast that I've ever seen. Excellent. I'm talking Target quality, people. Target quality t-shirts, tank tops, light long sleeve tees. Get it all, everything you need to get ready for spring. You can get it right now, teespring.com/store/Two in the Cooler, or just hit the link in the description below. Thank you guys. Thank you to everybody who's bought merch already. It's really awesome seeing those come in. And as the season change, gonna need a couple new outfits. It's the best place to start right there. teespring.com/store/Two in the Cooler. All right, folks, let's get into the episode. Thank you guys for listening. And we're live. Oh, yep, we are. Here we go.
We are live.
Yep.
Just started singing.
Yeah, and we're gonna get sued for that.
Well, sorry.
Wait, what were you singing?
A song called Business. I think it's called Business by Tiesto or somebody like that.
Oh, I thought you were singing the Let's Get Down to Business from Mulan.
No, let's get down to business. Is that how that one goes?
To
to
defeat the Huns.
No.
Well, the
but
Huns
it is
are going to defeat
similar.
themselves.
It's like, let's get down business.
Yeah, see, that's what.
One more night.
I don't know. It seems a little close. I feel like freaking, what's his name from Mulan? Joe? Is that the guy's name?
I don't fucking know. I haven't seen Mulan
Donny
forever.
Osmond?
Because I still am protesting the live action version of Mulan because the little dragon's not in it.
Mushu.
Yeah,
you don't even remember his name.
No,
but
I know.
I fully.
Yeah. So
first of all, this is a podcast. We stand with Mushu.
Yeah.
That's us. I don't think Mushu is racist, right? Like just because he's a dragon named Mushu.
I thought Mushu was a great character. I thought
he's the comic relief. That whole
Disney's
thing.
done way more racist shit than.
100%. What I'm saying is like they've tried to like erase a lot of that stuff or whatever, or at least be like, hey,
different time.
We don't like the Nazis anymore.
Which is fair though. Like maybe the Nazi thing. Well, yeah, but it was never pro-Nazi. It was always anti-Nazi. Well, except for the fact that they thought Walt Disney may be a Nazi.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
I actually saw a TikTok like that the other day, and it was Mickey Mouse. So it was like it was like a paint mixing TikTok or something like that. Or it was like a home improvement TikTok.
Oh, okay.
And so they were going to mix some type of like paint or plastic, some type of mud, whatever it was, and they put like the mixer in it, and when the mixer hit it, like when the mixer went in before they started mixing it, the imprint of the mixer was there and it looked like a swastika. So somebody duetted it with like, it was Mickey. And so Mickey's watching the video and at one point he goes, oh, that looks just like what's all over Walt's house. And yeah, so that was a quick Nazi joke from from somebody on TikTok.
You always got to slide at least
Yeah.
just a little bit in there.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
But, yeah, I mean,
But
just you and I
like,
today. Oh,
yeah,
I was going to
just
get
us
into the
today.
show.
Well, this is the show.
Yeah, no, but I was
just want to
just
say,
gonna-
like, I mean, I guess this happened so long ago, nobody cares about it. But they shouldn't have even just called it Mulan then. If they just wanted to do like a cool action movie set in China with a female protagonist. I mean, I guess because they wanted to get the people
What
watching.
were they going to call it then?
Call it anything. Call it
Like the Little
female
Mermaid compared to like
protagonist takes-
Ariel.
takes over
Like-
China, saves China. Call it that.
Mulan, but that's the name of the main character.
Yes, yeah, but like,
I don't think calling it Mulan is racist.
no, I'm not. No, I'm
So
not
why are
talking
you
about
saying
race
that they should
anymore.
have changed the
Because
name?
they didn't have Mushu in it. If they weren't gonna have, because if they didn't have
Oh,
the
so
songs,
it
if they
would
weren't
make
gonna have
more
the songs,
sense.
right? If they weren't gonna have the songs and they weren't gonna have some of the main characters, Mushu's a main character.
You're
in
saying
that
why
movie.
would they call them? Why even call the new live action one Mulan?
Basically, I understand why they would call it that.
Yeah,
obviously,
but no. Okay, I
but
thought you meant like
as a
why
fan-
even name it Mulan, like the original movie. I'm like, I don't know. I thought that made sense.
No,
I was
no.
very confused.
Talking about the remake. As a fan, to me, Mulan
What's up?
is Mushu kind of.
Yeah, Mushu's It would be like taking the crab out of the Little Mermaid. What's his name? Sebastian.
Sebastian the Crab.
I feel like they play similar roles. Like, isn't that what Mushu's role is, to like watch after Mulan? And that's,
that's
exactly what Sebastian's role is to watch after Ariel.
Right. You have, you know what? I never put him in that category before because I always think about Zazu and Sebastian. Zazu from The Lion King. He's
Yeah,
like the two
yep,
king-
yep, yep, yep.
Zazu, Sebastian, those guys are like the same guys.
Yeah.
And that, but yeah, you could definitely throw Mushu
Mushu's
into
in
that
that
mix.
mix.
He's that same, like he's there for that same reason.
I
That's
feel
a
like
good
I've
point.
said this on the podcast before, but I'm going to say it again because we're talking about Disney stuff. And I said it out loud last night, and I feel like I say it like twice a week. I wish that there was documentaries out there that were like Disney conspiracy documentaries.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
because my theory behind that is because what I really want is a live action movie of the movie series of the Kingdom Keepers book series.
yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be super fucking cool.
The Kingdom Keepers, if anybody doesn't know, is a series put out by Disney, series of books about these kids who like kind of are part of an attraction at Disney. So when they fall asleep, they go exist in the parks.
Yeah, in their dreams, but
And then they
it's
have
their
to,
real
like-
bodies, so
Yeah.
like you can die.
Yeah,
And they
have
fight
to,
the
like-
villain. Like everything comes to life pretty much. They fight the villains, but the books are like loosely based off of like old like wise tales about the parks, aren't they?
There's a lot of stuff in those books where the kids have to find out, solve clues and puzzles. They got to solve ciphers basically about like what Maleficent might be up to, and it's like, oh, there's this thing where like Walt had his office above the fire station, which is like a true thing.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like
so
that.
that's what I mean. Like I want a documentary about that.
There-
About like weird shit, because Disney Plus, I mean, I like Imagineers is a great docuseries. We learn about like the ideas behind like building the parks and all the different parks and stuff like that, which is another thing. I wish that you could select like your park. Like what Disney park do you go to usually if you're a fan of Disney?
If you only have one day in Orlando, you have to go to Magic Kingdom.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh.
I mean like when you're watching a show like that and it jumps from Disney Orlando to Disney California to Disney
okay.
Tokyo. Like, yeah, I mean, having all that knowledge is interesting, but I like as somebody who's only ever been to Orlando to go to Disney, but has spent a good amount of time there, I want to know all about that park.
Because that's the most practical information for you.
Yeah.
I understand that. It would be... Because I feel like the Disney past, there's probably some pretty dark stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm going to Google it while you're
You got like all the racism stuff, obviously. You got like you don't become as successful, especially when Walt Disney was coming up. I don't think you could become successful without screwing at least a couple people over. And when they were building Orlando, they used shell companies to buy all of that swampland for like mad cheap from these people, just these small companies with different names so people wouldn't know it was Disney. And they basically, they like raked people over the coal. They screwed them over to get this land for so cheap. And then they turned it into Disney World. So there's stuff like that maybe if it got out, it wouldn't be great for the Disney image, right? The Disney brand. But I feel like it would be so, for lack of a better term, I guess, I think it's such a baller move to accept that as part of your history and to kind of show it to people. Like, yeah, this is the past. This is what's happened to the company. But I guess I can see both ways about it because it's also a company that's, I think, always been more about the future than it has the past. But I think that'd be the ultimate power move for Disney to make a documentary series. Call it like the Dark Side of Disney or whatever. If you put that on Disney Plus, I don't think they ever would. But I think that'd actually be a cool move.
No, but I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that Disney would ever endorse.
No, not endorsing it, but just in fact, you could even use it as a platform to not discredit, but what's that? Separate yourself from the past and be like, this is not what we do anymore. Like, this did happen, and that's what's going on.
I tried to do a quick Google to see if I could get anything like cool to pop up, and it was nothing cool.
No cool Disney conspiracy.
Well, it was kind of like dumb shit. Like it was like about the movies mostly. Like what I Googled, it was like, is Belle related to like the girl from
stuff?
Frozen or something like that.
Like the Pixar
it's like
theory?
they look just alike. I'm like, yeah, it's probably because the people that are drawing for Disney are still drawing for Disney. You know what I mean?
It's like that Disney has a very specific style. Yeah. Just like that Pixar theory stuff. Have you ever heard that?
No.
I can't remember exactly.
Oh, like how it's all intertwined. Yeah, how it's pretty much a cinematic universe without being a cinematic. Yeah, we're big into cinematic universes on this show.
Obviously, check back up. I mean, Disney probably getting on the horn any second.
They're probably worried listening right now, the fact that we're talking about their conspiracies, because they know how in-depth we can get into stuff like this. So they're probably a little nervous.
Yeah.
If this episode gets censored at all by the internet, by big tech, it's actually all backed by Disney.
Right. It'd be buried by Disney. Yeah. I feel like they might be listening because they know if they do stuff like what we talked about, they have to pay us. Yeah. So they're either going to do that or they're going to have us killed, and we're going to end up in that Dark Side of Disney documentary.
I have something to say that I think Disney would do in that case, but I almost don't want to give them the idea.
Is it one? Oh man, is it like they like erase us?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of forging of documents going on in the scenario that I think would happen.
Okay.
Like they would go back, they would forge documents saying that they had the idea that we had before we had it and like already had it on paper and stuff like that. I don't think that Disney would be willing to pay us the money.
No,
I don't think
for sure not.
Yeah.
And either way, I think they'd be able to like really
we got some strong lawyers.
Well, that's true. If we have them do it, then I guess that'd be all right.
We could take down Disney Corp.
I'll call Margot right now, see if we can get something going.
But, I mean, what have you been up to? It's just us two on here today. We're just hanging out.
Yep, just hanging out. Just getting things moving as far as what we're up to. I don't know. I saw that. I actually saw the Jake Paul knockout this time.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of that. Like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
before.
circulating around that too. Again, just like the Billy football, just like the Barstool.
Oh yeah. You know what?
Like whoever that guy was. I will say that I don't know much about the guy who's fighting, but what I do know is that he's a former
UFC fighter.
guy.
Yeah.
And as somebody who's formerly like been in the ring and stuff, it definitely to me looked like he didn't train at all. Like he just came in totally unprepared. And I don't think that it was because he underestimated Jake Paul. I think that he just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, you think he was just in it for the money? I don't know,
because
man.
like he had a little chub to him is what is like the biggest thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
And those guys who have done that at the professional level, like they could cut and drop weight and get in shape like that, I feel like literally at the snap of a finger.
I guess so. He's retired now. And I do think that he definitely didn't want to go through that training
that's
process,
what I mean. Like if he really wanted to win that fight, he definitely could have trained harder from what it looked like.
He's also not a boxer.
Well, yeah, I still don't think this gives Jake Paul like legitimate fighting credit. I still don't think he, you know what I mean? He still needs to fight somebody. But I do think that he's building towards convincing somebody to fight him. I do think like eventually we're going to see him get to fight a real professional boxer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has to happen within his next 2 fights, if not the next one, then the one after that. I think it has to go.
I would say, yeah, I agree.
think that
I don't
right
think he's going to fight somebody out because, I mean, eventually, I mean, I know he's still getting paid, so it's like, well, partially, who cares? But at the same time, like, him compared to the guy he fought, like, he seems to be, like, he wants to do this fighting thing, right? Like, he wants to train and be able to be good at it. So if I was him, I wouldn't take another fight until somebody agreed to fight me.
Ooh, that would be a smart move, I think.
Like he's got the money. Like eventually, just like put up your own money and be like, dude, somebody fucking fight me. If you really think you're just gonna kick my ass, I'll put up my own money. And at least then, even if I lose, hopefully it's respectably. And now I've proven that I can stand in the ring with a real professional boxer, not just grab another YouTuber or another friggin' retired guy who never even was a real boxer. You know what I mean?
I will say though, the fact that he was able to knock him out, that counts for something. Because this guy was a professional fighter.
But
he's not like
what
he's
I
the
mean
easiest
when
guy
I
to
say
knock
like
out.
he wasn't prepared. Like if you go back and look at, and I saw that this is a Twitter comment, not a me comment, but I saw a thing that was like, if you go back and look at when he was fighting in the MMA, like the shots that he would take and stay up, like he obviously like just wasn't prepared for this fight. Because you have, I mean, MMA fighters throwing they literally throw bombs at your head while it's on the ground. There's no that's they don't give a fuck. And you take one punch like that from Jake Paul and you're telling me that drops you. I mean, and it could be. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing, and that's why Jake Paul needs to fight somebody.
Yeah, I think that's all it needs to be. He definitely has to do something. Well, he's got to fight somebody legitimate for sure, to solidify. But the thing is, I don't know what's going to be better for him at this point is to keep doing things where, because he still gets talked about a lot, and that's currency in his world.
He is getting paid. Well, and he is getting paid. But that's what I mean is, but that's what I'm saying. He could continue. He could continue to get paid just doing what he's doing. What I'm saying is, if he really wants to become from a personal standpoint, if that's really a goal of his, then he needs to actually do it. And stop caring. That's why I said put up your own money. Like, stop caring about the money. You have plenty of it. You had more than enough money before you even started fighting when you were just a YouTube star. So if he really wants to be known as somebody who's a good fighter, then he's just got to do it.
Yeah, he's got to get on. He's got to get on there now. And hopefully now some more legitimate people will be willing to even have that conversation with
my
him.
knowledge of the boxing world is really based off of, like, the Rocky/Creed movies.
So you're an expert, essentially.
Like as far as how I know like how fights get set up. That's my only info.
I mean, that counts for something. I'm not really, I guess, but it's
No, but what's that other movie, Southpaw?
Oh,
I just know that you sign these like these fights you sign through the places, not necessarily like fighter to fighter. So you need
the hotels or whatever.
Yeah, you sign a deal with MG, like a 3-fight deal with the station, whatever. Like you sign like a 3-fight deal with so and so, like ESPN or something, or whatever. Whoever manages the fight. Like there's a
okay.
Yeah, or you'd sign like a 3-year deal with the UFC and you fight, or 3-fight deal with the UFC and you go fight 3 times. So I don't know how he gets to that point. I'm sure he knows enough people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that fight alone but it was a huge spectacle. Justin Bieber performed, and I didn't watch it, but I heard that the D'Amelio sisters brought out the belt.
Oh, I heard they were there too, but I didn't know. I just heard
Which
that in
is
passing. I didn't know
hysterical.
what they would do. Those TikTok
Yeah, the
people,
TikTokers.
right? They're like the top. They're
Well,
like the
the
top
girl, yeah,
TikTokers.
the one Charlie, the younger sister, is TikTok. Like she owns that field, and then her sister is like on board with her. Like they're kind of doing their thing, but her whole family is too. Like her dad, and I know this because I've like got stuck in rabbit holes of like her dad is a fucking weirdo, in my opinion. Like
Elaborate.
her dad like makes a ton of TikToks, like TikTok trends and shit like that, and it just feels like the whole family just jumped on board with like TikTok fame, like through our fucking 16-year-old daughter.
Well,
like let's just
when
ride
she's
the train.
pulling in tens of millions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of
I
millions
know,
of dollars.
but like I feel like a good parent doesn't do that.
Sure, but we're not
Like, you
talking
can
about a
sup-
good parent.
yeah.
We're just talking about
No, but that's why I'm
people
saying
blinded
that's why I'm
by-
saying
by
I
money.
don't.
In fact,
That's why I'm saying I don't like the dad. I feel like we've actually had this conversation on the podcast before. Either that or I've argued with somebody else about this before.
I don't think you talked about it with me before.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like as a parent, if that's the avenue that your child goes on, you can support them to do that. But like, don't monetize yourself based off it. I feel like.
That's, ooh. So I wonder what comes first though in that situation, right? Like, look at even Britney Spears and stuff. Like, there's always that thing of parents trying to make money off of their
But I
kids in
feel,
that
but that's
situation.
why I'm saying
Hold on,
bad
hold on.
parents. Okay.
Bad parent, but now it's a little different because in like you keeping with the Britney Spears example, it's like the way for me as a parent to make money off of my kid, her, is to like get her to sign all this stuff and just work her to death.
I think she has
But
it's like
now-
American Eagle or Hollister. Maybe she's one of those. Like, I think it's Hollister.
Britney Spears or this.
Charlie
Okay.
D'Amelio.
But so now you can leverage with social media, you can leverage your kid's career into a career of your own, which is crazy.
But that's what I'm. But like, I think about it. Like, think of like a professional athlete. I mean, you see cases of it, but when you see like big time professional, like the best professional athletes who are like the best not only on the court or like in sport but off sport, you know what I mean? A lot of times their parents are like very humble and they'll be with them and they'll embrace that fame, but they're not necessarily looking to make millions of dollars off their, you know what I mean? So I feel like, and it's the same with like child actors, you know how they always end up fucked up. Like when you have these young kids and they're able to make all this money, fine, let them do that. How as a parent could you say, no, don't do that? Like they're making millions and millions of dollars. But that doesn't mean that you need to then like use that to try to make millions and millions of dollars too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I think. Like that's like
course.
pushing your kids into something that they don't want to do. Because like, well, and the other thing about, I don't know. It's so weird that I know all this, but I'm pretty sure like Charlie's like dream was to be like a professional dancer, like a Rockette or some shit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or like
Whatever the top of
yeah,
the
whatever
dance world
dance
is.
like that group
new
of girls
dance
that
moms.
in The Dark Knight that Bruce Wayne takes on the boat and takes the whole like Russian ballet.
yeah, okay.
Like she wanted to be like that. I think TikTok is very different than that. Very different.
TikTok
than
is not the Russian ballet.
that. No, I don't
Okay.
think so. Maybe I'm just not. I mean, I'm not on, and that's the thing is I don't see like these TikToks. I just TikTok drama is funny to me. It's all over the internet and stuff. Even like Dave Portnoy just did the thing with like he does that BFFs podcast
Yeah.
with those two TikTok guys, and then I guess like some TikTok girls were guests on like Call Her Daddy and a couple other Barstool
Yeah.
shows, and there was like this big drama. Like there was like two best friends, and like the one was dating a girl, and then they broke up, and then she started dating the other best friend. Some crazy shit. I don't know, but it had like 1.1 million live viewers on YouTube when they streamed it,
Yeah.
and so it's hard to not get involved, like to not read about it. It's just pure entertainment.
Because it's everywhere now.
It's like
which
it's
is-
like reality TV virtually.
Right. Which is, again, more interesting because it's like a reality show that spans across all platforms. So it's either all true or at the very least, if it is orchestrated, then it's harder to think of it that way, because like when we watch a reality show, it's like this one thing, and we know that they're planning out everything that they give to us.
I'm sure it's a bit of both, because this is also I think that at the start of reality TV, I think that things were planned as far as like arguments and stuff go, but like people were also given the task of being the antagonist, to go back to the lingo that you were using earlier when we were talking about Milan. And I say that because if you're on a show like that, or if you're on a reality TV show and you know that you're the bad guy in that case, the best thing you can do then is to go cheat on somebody in the show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because then that's all everybody's talking about is you on the show. Either way, this brings me to another point. Have you ever watched the show The Circle on Netflix?
Yeah. Why was I thinking about that?
Because
today?
they just like the second season started.
Oh, I remember why I was thinking.
So, have you watched it though? Did you watch the first season? Yeah. So the second season started. I watched.
I'll say
the 5th episode actually comes out today. So you're welcome for the free ad, Netflix. They come out every Wednesday. I watched the first 4 the other day. I binged them. And that show to me is hysterical for so many different reasons. One, they brought on a little bit of a spoiler. Not really. It happens in the first episode.
Okay.
They bring on this girl her name's Chloe. She was from another Netflix reality TV show called Too Hot to Handle, which is also hysterical. Uh-huh. I think we discussed that. So she's on there. And they also have, I think this happens in the second episode, so this kind of is a spoiler, but they have somebody from NSYNC on the show. I don't know I don't know the members of NSYNC, but it's actually not the person from NSYNC. It's their manager. So it's this old like lady who's been the manager of the guy who started NSYNC. He's like the most famous one or something. I don't know his name.
Oh, Nick Carter?
No, maybe it's not that guy then.
Because I'm pretty sure he's the most famous from NSYNC. Wait,
he's the guy that started NSYNC.
No, NSYNC's the one with Justin Timberlake. Backstreet Boys is the one with Nick Carter. So you got Lance Bass, Joey Fatone.
That's who it is, Lance Bass.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Lance Bass's manager is on The Circle playing Lance Bass. And that hasn't really heated up yet, but it's going to heat up. Because you know how at the end of the show, you know how when you get voted off the show, you get to go see somebody in person?
Yes.
People are going to start going to see her, and it's going to be funny because they're going to watch. I mean, and that's the thing is it kind of almost, from the sense, it's the closest thing you'd ever get to him because she knows everything about him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that show's entertaining. The funny thing I also think about is you tell me if I'm wrong, you'd know. But I think I've also read this on the internet is that they don't have this magical AI system that does all this shit for them.
No,
like they don't have The Circle. So a lot of those shots are them standing saying like Circle open.
Yeah, hold on. Let's
chat.
Just a little backstory. So The Circle, it's like all these people are isolated and
they're pretty much
all these people are isolated and then they can only talk to each other through this artificial intelligence like chat system that tells them different challenges, things like that, called The Circle. And the game is to because some people are not who they say they are, so the game is to guess who is that and try to survive all the way through.
Yeah, because they rank so it's pretty much like a TV show. It's a reality TV show based off. It's like social media, right?
Yeah,
because
that's the whole point.
That's what it is. Is then you rate everybody like 1 through 10 or however many people are on the show, and then the top 2 people in the rating, so all the ratings get averaged out. The top 2 people become influencers, and then the influencers vote people off.
Right. Okay.
So it's like living on social media.
Yeah.
They're like in these little rooms, pretty much. They get their own custom room, and they sit there and they talk to The Circle. But when you watch it, thinking about the fact that The Circle doesn't actually exist, and they're just standing there for these shots, and then somebody's going in and like. I guess that there is probably like something on their TV that shows them all this is my guess, but they don't actually like talk it out and it just pops up. Like all that happens over time, right? Like so when they're having these conversations, they're not real minute to minute conversations. They're like somebody shoots this shot and then somebody else gets told what they said, and then they shoot their shot, and they're like, hey, circle. And they have to say, like, and also, sorry, I've been saying like a lot. I noticed that when I was watching a video of ourselves, an Instagram clip. I was like, fuck. And that was a big topic of conversation when we first started the show, and I feel like I was doing a good job, and now I'm back on the like train. Or was I never doing a good job?
I think there were like 3 episodes where you did all right, and then it went back.
See, but you just said like in that sentence, and you didn't need to.
Well, sorry.
Maybe I just only notice when I do it.
It happens.
And I also notice it because when you post on Instagram sometimes and you do the
Captions.
the closed captions, yeah, sometimes you'll leave out my likes or something like that.
Oh yeah, well I do that. I do that all the time with our videos for anybody, because if it's doesn't need to be there, and if there's, if it doesn't look good,
yeah, but
for the space,
because then I assume you do it so that people can watch it without the sound being on.
Yeah,
but then if you watch it with the sound on, it's like, wait, that's not what I said. That's how I see it.
I guess you know what, that's true.
But I guess I'm the one saying
when it's
it
small
too, so
words
other
like
people
that
aren't
as
conscious
perceptive to it. Maybe I don't know. I think they probably are, but I also don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck about those people.
No, I mean,
also,
I'm not saying that.
Listen to your shit with the sound on.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not saying that so you can hear our voices. I'm saying in general, like, don't ever try to read something that you could listen to.
What if you are like? What if you don't want somebody to know what you're watching, though? Like you're next to somebody.
You ever heard of a pair of headphones?
Asleep. Yeah, but what if you don't want to
wear
headphones?
If they're asleep, they can suck it. Turn it down a bit.
I guess some people just want to be cordial, or maybe they just want to be secretive. Maybe they're watching something like, ooh,
why?
You know?
Why would you not listen to something on your phone when say you're in bed with Zoe and she's asleep? You wouldn't listen to you wouldn't watch something on your phone with the volume on?
Sometimes it depends. If I really want to watch it, then I'll turn it up a little. But I don't turn it up enough that I watch it.
That's
and
not even worth it, because then you have to listen and watch at the same time.
Well, I'll usually watch it all the way through, and then I'll listen to it, and then I'll watch it again.
What if it's like a 7-minute video?
Then I won't. Then I'll save it for later. Also, I'm not. If I'm not. I don't watch those long ones in bed anyways.
You don't scroll as much.
I'm not.
What if you come across a random video on Twitter that's like 6 minutes long and you're like, I want to watch this. You just you just don't watch it?
Yeah, I'll just watch it later.
See, but that is my later. Like in bed is my later. Like I have to watch this video now because I'll see it in the middle of the day and I'll like it so that I can go watch it later.
Got it. Yeah. See, I wake up and then I start scrolling. So if I stumble across something like that, it's almost like more incentive that I give myself to get up, because I need to get moving anyways.
Would you say that the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is check your phone? Mm-hmm. That's addiction.
Yeah, I know.
No, I know.
We got we got stuff to get. We got to get things done.
I got content to see.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make sure, see what's going on. See, if what's happening on our Instagram and things like that. See if we need to get back to people. See how we're doing.
I don't know if this is like a direction of the show that we've ever gone or you want to go, but I'm so excited to go out to dinner after the show. And can I tell you why?
Sure.
So I was away the past 5 days. Well, I got home on Saturday, but I was away for several days, living the bus life, nothing new, but just for such an extended period of time. And outside of when you're on the bus, when we're at the hotel and stuff, when we're there for days at a time, we go out to team dinner and we go out to team breakfast and stuff like that. But when you're on the bus, it's for 14, 15 hours at a time. It's always just stop and eat at a rest stop or stop and eat wherever, And so in the span of the 30 hours that I spent on the bus this past week, we had to have stopped at 5 McDonald's alone, plus a KFC. No, not a KFC, a Taco Bell, plus, I don't even know, so much fast food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, fast food on the bus. And you're stuck on the bus, and it's just people smell because you've been on the bus for 9 hours and everybody's got a shit because all they've been doing is eating McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I would never, ever, I would never, I'm officially retired now, but prior to that, I would have never, ever let somebody shit on the bus. Not when you're on that puppy for 15 hours. That would be
that's a big deal.
Horrible. So it's just a grind, and I'm so excited to eat a meal. Not that I haven't. Like, I cooked really good. I made some chicken teriyaki last night with the broccoli, the rice, whole nine. Very good. But I'm excited to go out and eat a meal and have somebody bring it to me and be like, this is delicious.
Not in a paper bag.
Yep.
We could probably ask them to put it in a little paper bag if you want. But
yeah, I'm not going to remember how to eat at the restaurant. I'm going to want to go sit in my car and eat my food on my lap and try to. And that was the other thing. Oh, my God. So you know how I am. I'm like everything needs to be, I need to make sure I have everything. Everything needs to be where it's supposed to be. I need to be there on time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm on my way to the bus when we were leaving. We were leaving at 11 p.m. at night, driving through the night. And I'm on my way to the bus, and I knew that we had picked up sub tray. So that's another thing we'll do sometimes is like get like big sub trays from different places. Shout out Bob and John's. That's where we always get them from. Delicious. But I knew that those weren't going to be until lunch the next day because we'd still be on the bus through lunch the next day. And then we had to go right to the rink for the COVID test. Blah, blah. I knew. So I mean, like, I have to get food on this bus because I'm not going to be able to fall asleep on this bus without eating. Whatever. So that's my thought process. So I go to Wendy's, get my Wendy's, get to the bus. So that's fast food stop one. I wasn't even on the bus yet. So I get on the bus. Everything gets set. Wait till we leave. We leave. I start eating. The very first thing we did, we were barely out of the school parking lot. I kicked over my large purple Powerade, and it went everywhere. Ice. And I sit in the back of the bus. So ice is Powerade sliding all the way forward on this bus. I'm like, what the fuck? Not a good way to start the bus trip. So I sit down. I start eating. I get to my nuggets because I got I think I got a 4. I don't remember what I got, but I had nuggets. And I fucking rip open my honey mustard. Best honey mustard in the world is at Wendy's, by the way. Also another shout out. Literally the second I open my honey mustard, tip it over and it's sitting on my pants. We've been on the bus, again, not even 10 minutes now, and it's sitting upside down open on my pants, like flat. So I'm like, is this going to be solid enough to scoop up?
You have to you got to take a napkin.
What I should have done is taken my pants and lifted my pants up to flip it back over to minimize the amount of. That's not what I did. I tried to go for the quick scoop up, honey mustard all over my pants. So I'm like, fuck. So I get napkins. I wipe up the honey mustard, but now there's the honey mustard stain on my pants. Also, all I can smell is honey mustard because it's all over my pants. So I try to, and it's got that honey mustardy horseradish. Not a smell that you want to be experiencing for the next 15 hours on a bus. So I take my Gatorade bottle, my water bottle, and I squirt it straight on my pants, just soak it. So now I'm trying to rub it in, but now I've got the honey mustard smell all over my hands too, because I'm working with these napkins. It's just driving me crazy. So I just changed the pants, throw on shorts. And the pants were soaked because I just squirted them with a shit ton of water. But I figured, well, they still might dry fairly clean. So I left them on the bus seat kind of hanging up.
So now you're sitting on the bus in your underwear?
No, I got shorts on.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of the end of that story. But so that's how the bus ride started. Just a shit show.
Yeah.
But that story then comes to an end with I fucking left my sweatpants on the bus.
Disappointing.
And I'm pissed because they were one of my favorite pairs of super comfy sweatpants. Navy blue joggers from H&M. They had the perfect fit. They were broken in. I'd had them for 2 years. They were grizzled sweatpants. They had never failed me. Always gotten the job done. And I don't know that I'll be able to replace them. And it's very, very upsetting to me.
Yeah, sometimes you have pieces of clothes like that, that you just feel.
I wore those sweatpants a lot, and they were one of those sweatpants where you could wear them with any shoe too. You could wear them with boots; they looked good. You could wear them with a sneaker; they looked good. You could wear them with a sandal; they looked good.
Sweatpants and sandals. That's
my god, all the time. I used to wear I used to walk to class all the time, and I'd put like cabin socks on, like really warm socks, and then my Birkenstocks, and I'd go to school like that.
I like that. That feels like a very
It's a very
college
comfortable
class
vibe. Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
Wearing that. Yeah, that's all right. I'm kind of glad to hear you say you're tired of the fast food, because one thing I've been thinking about, knowing that you're done with hockey now, is
How fat I'm going to get?
well, that's what I'm worried about, because you typically eat more than just about anybody I know, and it works for you because obviously, you're skating so much that you can burn it all off. Like when we went to Disney World like 2 years ago or whatever, you would eat like 4 cheeseburgers a day between meals. One of those maybe was at lunch, but 4 cheeseburgers a day and then 3 meals a day.
Yeah, that's a good day. I don't think that. I think.
Because isn't there something where obviously you probably won't be as hungry as you're used to, but I feel like because you've been eating so much for so long, there's something in your brain
that says I need
is
to
like,
eat right now.
this is not enough food.
Yeah.
Like this, even though I'm not necessarily hungry.
I've
not
thought about
enough.
this a ton.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not so much worried about the food as the fact that like my like ADHD or whatever it is that makes my brain work the way that it works is like, what am I going to do to like get that energy out of me? Because I can sit there all day and do absolutely nothing and be fine, like on a day where I wouldn't have practice or anything, and just sit there and barely move, like barely even go to the kitchen. You know what I mean? But eventually that energy would all have to come out of me, and it would usually be just saving it for hockey. But in times where I've gone extended periods of time without being able to play hockey, like I've needed to find something to be able to release my energy in. And I've never been a gym guy, but I feel like my life is going down that direction where I'm going to turn into somebody who starts to like go to the gym every day, because I can't not stay active.
Sure. It needs to be something physical.
And that's what I mean. And I don't mean like go for, because I still run. I run a few times a week. I try to at least, like 2 miles when I run, just to like go out and do something, because I'll sit there and I'll be bored all day if I don't. But with like going to the gym and like lifting weights and stuff, I feel like there's like an intensity behind that. Like, you know what I mean? Almost equivalent to like getting ready to like go play in like a full contact sport, or at least that's how gym people make it seem. Like they're like, Wah!
Yeah, right.
And I feel like that's that's what I need to get out of me, is that.
Right. You just need to. Gotcha. Yeah, that could do the trick. I mean, it's got to be something physical. Here's the thing to consider though, like, because there's a skill aspect to hockey as well. So I think ideally you'd find something that is physical, but also there's a little something cognitive going on in there. I don't know what it would be. Maybe you like hit the treadmill and do a bunch of puzzles. Yeah,
I haven't even thought about that. Xbox probably. I'll try to get really good at that. Well, that's the other thing. Golf is probably actually 100% where all of my skill attributes are going to go. Like, I've said this last year before I was, like, when I really, really started playing golf a lot at the beginning of last year. Like, eventually when I retire, like, my goal is going to become, like, a scratch golfer. And I feel like now that's where everything I do is going to lead. Like, instead of going to practice, I'll just go to the driving range. But also, driving ranges are a complete fucking myth. The sport of golf is fucking bullshit. I have 2 bones to pick, and I've said this twice in the last week to my friends. My first bone to pick is with whoever invented golf. Like, What a ridiculous fucking game. You got this little ball, and you got a little hole 500 fucking yards away, and you got to put this little ball in that hole. Stupid. 2, the main reason that's now stupid is whoever decided that they were going to be able to get really, really good at it is stupid. Like, if the average golf score was like 100 and it took everybody like 7 to 8 shots to put like the ball in the hole, it would be like fun. You know what I mean? Everybody'd be competitive. But there's a few assholes out there that had to say like, yeah, you guys can do this in 8. I'm going to go out there and figure out how to do it in 3. Like, fuck you. So now that's what I have to do because I can't be shitty at it because I got nothing else to do now.
Moving the bar like that. That's interesting. It has to have its roots somewhere.
Like, at what point is okay good enough? You know what I mean?
I mean,
apparently never.
Yeah, I don't think ever. I don't think that's ever okay. Like, I wouldn't.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the sport of golf, to be good at it is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and you can, like, you could be a scratch golfer, like, in Western New York.
What does that mean?
Scratch golfer means you have no handicap.
Oh, okay.
So you have no shots. Like, your score is even par. That's what you should shoot on a golf course. But you can be like a scratch golfer and be really good at golf and like live around here. And then you go to like a PGA golf course and like you might as well be a 10 handicap again. So it's just the whole sport. I mean, it's awesome, and I'm gonna pour so much time and money into it for the rest of my life, like a ridiculous amount.
Well, I guess that's a good thing that you get that skill stuff, but it sounds like you maybe are gonna have to manage your time more because you're gonna need to get everything you got from hockey from probably two different things. Because golf, I don't think will exercise you in the same way for sure.
Yeah, but but neither of them are as like, I shouldn't say time consuming. The thing was, I would never go to a gym. I mean, people do this. I'm not one of those people. I would never go to the gym and then go play hockey. If I'm going to play hockey, I'm going to play hockey, which I was doing almost every day, for the last, 18 years, 20 years. So I think that, like, I could go to the gym and then go to the golf course. And I wouldn't be like dead to rights exhausted on the golf course.
Yeah.
Afterwards, whatever. I'm usually tired after hockey anyway.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to be dead to rights tired at hockey. But if I'm being dead tired at a golf course is different than being dead tired at hockey, because golf at that point is more, it's physical and mental. I don't know. There's a lot to factor. I haven't figured it out all that much yet.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's weird. I have to take I have to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing to have to do. Never had to do it before.
Really?
Well, like, think about from like your perspective is a little different because you're my brother, but most of the people in the rest of my life that I know, whether I've known them for 5 minutes or 5 years, like, hockey has been my identity to those people, right? Like, that's what I've always done.
But is that what your identity's been to you the whole time?
Yeah, probably. That's all I really like. So now you got to find something else. Therefore, golf and maybe the gym. Depends on how okay I become with, packing on a few extra pounds.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna go.
Now, I think that's even more metabolism than it was being so.
That's true. You definitely have a good one.
But even then, that's gonna go eventually too. So you still have to. Yeah, we'll figure that out as we go. I think that we should probably get into the Who Would Win of the Week.
All right, I'm ready for that. It's
I think we kind of struggled to figure this one out because we had some disagreements on some other ideas, but I think the one that we settled on is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
And I don't remember what it is.
It's who would win is Waldo versus Pistachio Disguisey, a.k.a. the Master of Disguise, from the movie Master of Disguise starring Dana Carvey. So Waldo from Where's Waldo? And Pistachio Disguisey from Master of Disguise.
I have one side note first. I don't know if I've told you this. Have you ever seen that video where the guy goes to a bookstore and buys a Where's Waldo book, brings it home, and takes Waldo out of every picture and then returns it to the bookstore?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's hysterical. Imagine being a little kid and be like, I can't fucking find Waldo. I just imagine, I wonder if that idea came to him in conversation, because I just imagine it just sitting there looking up the sky and then kind of like, and then next thing you know, he's in his car heading to the bookstore. Yeah, like, I might as well do this.
Like that. That's an idea that God gives to you. That's not one that necessarily you just dig up and find. But In the fight between Waldo and Pistachio Disguisey, two guys who are obviously their skill is what? Blending in with their environment. That's the whole deal.
Intended skill. Pistachio sometimes
He does a little bit of but at the end of the movie, because
he gets very good at it. But
Yeah.
like obviously the Turtle Club scene
makes him stand out a little bit.
just a bit. What am I am I not turtle enough for the Turtle Club?
Turtle Club.
But all right, so let's get
Classic.
into this. Waldo's a bitch. But also Pistachio Disguisey is kind of a bitch. So it's kind of the fight. That's their thing is they blend in. It works
Is
better.
Waldo a bitch? Because Waldo seems to me as a guy who's just doing his own thing. He travels a lot.
My basis on saying that Waldo is a bitch, and this is coming from me of all people, is that he's just so skinny. Like Waldo in the Where's Waldo books is literally he might as well be Flat Stanley to relate him to another childhood book. Like he is a fucking twig.
Yeah, he's skinny, but if he's going up against Pistachio, also I don't like the skinny thing is not a factor for me when it comes to Waldo. Like I said, to me, Waldo seems almost like the closest thing to
The most interesting
man in the world. He's going around. He's just like he's floating on the breeze, man. He's Waldo. Pistachio is 100%.
Yeah,
but I love Pistachio,
but I think Waldo is too, though. I'm not disagreeing that he lives a very carefree lifestyle and floats through time and space like none other. But I also think that he is deathly afraid of conflict.
Ooh. Interesting.
I think that Waldo would, like, if somebody ever confronted Waldo, all he's gonna do is hide and then just zip over to Rome and hide and end up in the Colosseum and
somewhere in the stadium.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that Waldo. I think that this is how I imagine this fight is. Pistachio being the master of disguise, some way or another creates in his mind a vendetta against Waldo and goes after Waldo. So Waldo doesn't know this fight's coming because I think if you pitch the idea to Waldo, like, hey, you have to fight this guy, I don't think he would say yes.
Okay, I can see that.
But that's what makes me think that
I want to believe in Waldo because
I have no faith in Waldo.
But here's the thing: Waldo to me doesn't seem like a guy where if he is, on a very crowded beach and somebody is like, I don't know, gonna like harass a woman, right? Like some
Waldo ain't saying shit.
I think Waldo steps in. I think Waldo steps in. I believe in Waldo.
Waldo does not step in there, and I'm saying this also knowing that Pistachio is also like is a bitch, like
yeah.
But at the end of the day, he gets the job done.
I guess so,
and Waldo actually at the end of the day has never gotten the job done because he always gets found. Eventually.
Okay, let's get a little okay, but he is found by us. Right? We're not characters in his books. To the characters in the books, in the Waldo universe, he's invisible. He's a shadow.
They probably know where Waldo is.
I don't think so.
It's probably, hey, there's Waldo.
Here's the other thing. Pistachio, how many times can we say the guy's a pussy, but he is a real mama's boy, lives with his mom. Waldo's got nobody. Waldo's grown up on the streets.
Yeah.
And that hardened. There's
we don't
unavoidably
know that.
hardened
We don't
somebody.
know that Waldo grew up on the streets. We know that now he lives on the streets. But we don't know that he grew up on the streets. And there's a huge difference between living on the streets and growing up on the streets.
That's fair.
And again, I'll say it again. At the end of the day, Pistachio gets the job done.
But what is Waldo's job?
To not get found.
Okay,
and he always gets found.
Understood.
Here's another thing that I was thinking of when you were giving your points is, how sometimes people are like, oh, our life's a simulation. Like, we're just like a computer game. Like, somebody's actually controlling us.
Yeah.
What if, this is going to get a little crazy, but what if the world of Waldo is like real to all those people in the books?
Yes.
Like, they don't know that they're just in a book.
Yeah, that's what I'm theorizing in this situation.
In that situation, nobody probably knows who Waldo is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So he lives like even though he does all this stuff, he lives life under the radar. He doesn't like conflict.
Waldo is a curious drifter, but the avoiding conflict thing, I don't necessarily believe that. I understand where you're coming from because the fact that he keeps to himself and that he is an enigma, that he's an elusive guy, does not say to me that he's afraid of conflict, because I don't think that he's
I'm not
hiding
saying that because
necessarily.
I'm not saying I don't think he is hiding. I don't think his intention is to hide. I think two things. I think one, he just happens to live in a universe where a lot of people wear stripes.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing behind he looks like somebody who would avoid conflict. I've seen him on the beach wearing a hat, a winter beanie.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes to
avoid conflict.
Nobody goes to the beach and wears a winter beanie if they're not a fucking weirdo.
That's true. But Waldo obviously marches to the beat of his own drum. All he's got is himself.
Yeah, but I just...
It's Waldo against the world, baby. It's Waldo against the world.
Pistachio Disguisee would not... See, but Pistachio Disguisee would come into almost every fight in the world as an underdog. And I think he even comes into this fight as an underdog. Just because he is who he is.
He's so inept.
But I think that also part of the reason he comes in this fight as an underdog is because people don't know shit about Waldo. It's like betting women's tennis. They say that you have the best chance of winning money on gambling on women's tennis because they don't pay as much attention to the lines. So when people are underdogs, a lot of times they're underdogs because when they're playing somebody who's in like the top 5 of women's tennis, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. So there'll be these huge underdogs that'll win in women's tennis because they weren't actually as big as underdogs as they were bigger underdogs than they actually should have been.
Yeah, got it.
So I think that's what happens in this case is people look at Pistachio and like, this dude would lose to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's proven otherwise, but just a general rule of thumb, he would lose to anybody.
I guess at the end of the movie he does, but throughout that movie,
Yeah,
that woman
punked.
is doing all the legwork.
He definitely gets
She
punked.
solves the mystery.
No, but well, she does the hard work. She doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily solve it.
Right.
She just does the gritty stuff.
Yeah, she's the Velma of
Yeah.
that crew.
I think that Pistachio would beat Waldo. I think that Waldo just has the characteristics of somebody who, when their fight or flight instinct kicked in, he's flight all day.
I don't get that from Waldo.
How?
I don't get that from. I don't know. Waldo, to me, he just doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
Well,
I think that Waldo. Here's another thing. I think that Waldo, if Pistachio sets him off, I think he's got a button, man. I think you can flip a switch with Waldo and Waldo go crazy and just start wailing on top of him. I think that happens, yeah, 100%.
Because people that live a life like Waldo where they just float through place to place carefree, they don't get bothered.
We don't
by
know
shit
that
like
he's carefree for sure, though. We don't know what Waldo's purpose is.
But you're saying that he is carefree. You said that.
No, I didn't say that he was carefree. I did say he was kind of drifting along.
But in my opinion,
But he's also
But here,
Go ahead.
If we say that Waldo isn't carefree, that he does go to all these places, but he does so on like a my type schedule, that to me means that he is a pussy. Because that means that he's doing all this stuff, but he's too afraid to do it in a carefree manner. Like he has to have everything planned out so he knows exactly what's going to happen. And that goes back to me, thinking that he wants to shy away from conflict. Fight or flight.
I don't know, man.
Waldo's flight. The problem with this fight is that a large part of it is based off of your interpretation of who Waldo is as a person. Right. We are obviously on slightly different pages.
Yeah. Because
of that, I think that we're only ever going to settle on one thing. And that's that we're going to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to lock, And it's going to be interesting to see what other people think about Waldo. This is going to be a big one that I'm curious about on social media. So please go on and vote on that.
I want to know who is Waldo.
Who is Waldo?
What is his deal? What is his purpose? Because
you
Waldo
should write an adult book, like an adult novel, called "Who is Waldo?"
Who is Waldo?
Or not adult, but like a teen novel,
like a YA Waldo. We'll get fucking CW to buy a Waldo show, like the Riverdale and stuff.
Yeah. The CW. If there was ever going to be a Waldo show, the CW would be perfect.
That would be so funny. We could make that happen.
But All American, great show on CW. I can't believe it's still on CW.
I've never heard of it.
All American? The first season is on Netflix. It blew up huge. The second season is currently happening. You can watch it on the CW app. But my problem with shit like that, like Hulu, the CW, fucking commercials are the worst.
Yeah, I won't
watch.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Done with commercials.
I've never watched Workaholics. I've watched a few episodes, and it is hysterical. I watched the first 3 episodes about a month ago, and I was crying. I'm like, I know for a fact this is a show that I want to watch, and I won't watch it because I will not sit there and be fucking humiliated by Hulu that forces me to watch commercials every 3 minutes just because I won't give them an extra $5 a month.
That's the way it goes.
Fuck you,
That's
Hulu.
That's the model it's always been. That's that's interesting though. I wonder how much money they would lose if they just raised the subscription price to what premium is and then
probably
just cut their advertising.
Probably. My original statement was going to be if there was only one option, everybody would buy that. It's like Netflix. You would buy that option. But when you take into consideration how much money they're making off their ads, I bet you that they make more off of people that have the non-premium subscription than they do off of people that have the premium subscription.
Yeah, I would wager that's true.
So they'll probably never do that because people are going to keep taking the cheaper option.
Yeah, and then you can sell more ads. And I mean, as a company like that, you want as many revenue streams coming in as you can.
And now you've sold me on just going out and getting Hulu Premium because
that's a little. You're not necessarily. Even though you're paying more, you're not necessarily being manipulated by Hulu.
No, but it's just now that I think about it, it's just why the fuck not? We pay for so many other things. I'm not saying I'm saying we as a society.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking do it. But before we get too far away, we should lock in our answers on the Who Would Win of the Week. I'm taking the Master of Disguise, Pistachio Disguisey. Is that his name?
Yeah. And I'm taking Waldo.
And you're taking Waldo.
I think that Waldo.
Also,
I think he's got it.
I'll say this one last point. We're locked in, so vote on that on social media. But this is the one last point that I'll say is that Waldo's whole existence is kind of to be able to disguise himself, but he's not even known as the Master of Disguise. Pistachio is. So Waldo, suck it. Pistachio wins.
No, I think Waldo's
also, I bet
got
you there's a lot more people than we think that have never seen The Master of Disguise.
Yeah.
And that movie, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember it being damn funny. It's probably stupid.
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
it's pretty dumb.
Stupid.
Solid for kids and stuff. But there's also a lot of weird reference. He does a big Al Pacino impression at one point. Who was that for? But I think everybody knows the Turtle Club though.
Yeah,
because that was huge.
That's a famous scene.
Because that was in the trailer when that movie came out, and everybody saw that shit. Everybody knows the Turtle Club. Another note on the Who Would Win. Talked about doing the clubhouse things for that. It's going on. We're gonna start doing those now on Fridays at 4:00.
4 p.m. on Fridays.
4 p.m. on Fridays.
So if you're sitting there dragging your ass through your last hour of work on a Friday, say fuck whatever shit you didn't get done for the week. Hop in the clubhouse, have a chat with Andy.
Yeah,
we
don't have a Two in the Cooler one, so it's just Andrew Canada on Clubhouse. Yeah, check it out because we'll be talking on there. We should probably get out of here.
I was going to say that in a second.
It's a real light one today.
Yeah.
We used to finish with the Who Would Win all the time, but now it's so often we do it and then we move on to something else.
But
yeah.
I kind of I like it both ways. I feel like there's always a good opportunity to close with who would win the week.
Right,
But you can
if you
also
need to.
have like a closing conversation. Like,
Well, it always brings up other stuff. Like right now, we got to go, but I want to talk about like what is Waldo? Is he? Because to me,
he's a pussy.
no, he's not. But I think that Waldo might be some kind of like interdimensional being. Like I think Waldo is for sure an observer. He's some kind of observer, be it from somewhere out there or whatever. I think that he.
Do you think that
he blends in and he like
here,
he's cerebral?
this is what
to me.
when you
Waldo is
say
cerebral.
when you say interdimensional being, my thought went to like whenever the first Where's Waldo book came out, it was just a book of art and somebody like released it, and all of a sudden somebody was like, who is this guy that comes up in every picture? And somebody was like, dude, I don't even remember drawing that guy in. And now they just take pictures, put them in books. It's the best kept secret of all time. It's like magic. Like they just print pictures in books and Waldo just appears in them. Like they don't do any of that. Waldo like travels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The image of Waldo. What if he's trapped? Like the negative zone,
Like in
or whatever.
like in Interstellar. He's behind the bookcase.
Yes.
Waldo's behind the bookcase.
That is
Think
awesome.
about that. Think about that. Think about that, Andy.
Waldo has never been drawn before.
No.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with. That's absolutely true.
Lock that in. There's somebody else I was going to say fuck you to before we left. But I don't know. Andy, I love you.
Love you too.
Folks, vote on that shit. Teespring.com. Vote on that shit. Let's go have some dinner.
All right, let's do it. Let's get out of here. Thanks for listening, folks. See ya.
Suck it.